And that, you had to do the Norris to face the wasn't fantastic to come back as well.
Yeah, of course. Honestly, it sounds easy to say it all the time, but it's special for me every time I come here. It means so much. When I was walking out, and you get those bit of nerves, and I say to myself, I think I'm the luckiest person in the world. I'm living a dream here. I'm living a childhood dream when I used to come. Yeah, I mean, before it was promoting shows, it was.
There's less people in it.
But that's sort of me. My job. Is and it was good to be involved in a good fight with a top guy like Ricky, and yeah, no, it was a great night for me. Hard fought, I thought, I definitely done enough, but it was a tough fight, and yeah, look forward to the future.
Congratulations, Ricky. At the end of the fight, you celebrated like you thought you'd done enough. Did you believe you had the victory?
Do you know, I thought that the fight, it wasn't a good fight, it was a hard fight, but I think some of the rounds were close, Tony was telling me during the rounds. But I didn't think I'd done enough to get the win. Anthony, I wasn't really taking that many clean shots. I felt as if I was boxing well behind my jab. I was catching Anthony regular throughout the rounds. I felt as if I'd done enough to get the win tonight.
And you said in the build-up that you was expecting a bit of a war, and there were times there when both of you just stood in front of each other and were just swinging for the fences.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. Ricky did. It was. I was worried. I was just saying then in the back. I was worried. I thought that was. I'll have to watch the back one. I thought I was winning a lot of the early round, and it sounds so stupid now because I help power training with kids at the amateur club and that, and I'd never tell them. And Joe would probably tell me off. I was probably back in the gym, but I thought I was winning well, early on. But I was worried the fight was a bit boring. And I thought, I've got to do something here. It was a great atmosphere, great crowd. I thought, I've got to give him something to sing about, shout about, and I think we've done that. And I look forward to watching it back. And I'm just glad by the sounds of everyone saying we put on a good fight for everyone.
You mentioned the crowd. I know you had the B on your shorts, and obviously the Manchester Crolla thing as well. How much did it mean to you to fight in Manchester?
Yeah, everything. It meant absolutely everything to me after everything that's happened. But I was here at the reopening a few weeks back, and it was a very special night, a very emotional night, and he had there's people who was in there tonight for the first time since that. He had family members who was here that horrible night, and they'd come out to support me. So it was an emotional night for a lot of people, and I thought I had to make sure I got the win.
Obviously your cousin was caught up in it. Did she get a chance to be there tonight?
Yeah, she was here tonight, so she'll be going on, after.
Ricky, do you fancy a second leg in Glasgow?
I know that it was talked about the junior in there, 100%. For this fight, when it was talked about, we agreed to everything that they wanted. Manchester, even moving back down to lightweight. So I think it would only be fair. Let's get it back at the hydro, back down, same weight, back staying at lightweight. I think we showed there that as long as I diet properly, I can do lightweight. That is my best way to fight it. So if they're up for it, then let's do it. I know. I ain't got a problem with that. Listen, like I say, we'll go away and we'll assess things, but I've certainly got. First of all, I'm going to have a little break with the family. I'm sure Eddie will give us both a break, but
that's my first.
Yeah, I know that they get the swollen nose down for the shot that they came with. And listen, I always say the Irish German. I think we're very alike. Me and Ricky is in. We get amazing support, and I've said it before. We're very proud, obviously. Where I'm from, but when Flower Scotland plays in there and that hydro, I find it hard not to sing along to it. So it's a special place. I've got no problem in going there. Like I say, we'll go away and we'll see what's what. But if that's the best offer on the table, then so be it.
Ricky, there's so much talk in the future in the build up to the fight that you showed tonight. There's plenty of it in the tank.
No, 100%. Obviously, when I lost against Ndongo, everybody would write me off again, saying that I was finished. I've no got it left there. I think I've always said Tony said to me as well, I'd be the first to admit it, and Tony said if he fought in the gym, like when I'm sparring with all everybody I train with, all the youngsters, these are all top class fighters that I'm in the gym every day with. And if I was taking too many punches and sparring off them, or if I was to keep up with them on the runs and stuff like that, I would know myself it's not for me anymore, but that's not the case. I've definitely got another few big fights left in me. Like I said, in about another few years.
Number 50 next.
Number 50, that next fight's going to be number 50, and I keep saying to Tony, I can hit 60 or 70, so we'll see what happens.
So Ricky, if the rematch isn't next, are there fights you'd like?
Do you want me to say? I've always said the fighting adult. In my eyes, a fight's a fight. That's just the way I always see it. Tony and Eddie, they tell you exactly the same. It doesn't bother me one bit.
Same question to you, Anthony. If you don't get the rematch, or if it isn't a rematch next, what route would you like to?
Honestly, whoever join in there thinks weigh up the options and see what's the best option. Obviously, my aim is to try and win back another world title, and whoever gets me there the fastest, or whoever the chance of the opportunity comes, whichever champion that may be, I'll happily take it.
What do you think about that, Eddie?
Yeah, I think the rematch is an obvious fight. I think Scotland will come out in their numbers. Anthony's going to want to know the numbers, and so Ricky. Don't just, it sounds like they'll want it, but it doesn't happen like that. They want to know what they're getting. We've got to make sure it's very lucrative to both. You've got Luke Campbell also in the mix. You've got Terry Flanagan. You've got Robert Easter. But there was a huge crowd in there tonight. Atmosphere. Very few fighters can generate the kind of atmospheres that Anthony Crolla and Ricky Burns does. You go to the Hydro, it's a very special night. No one's selling tickets in Manchester Arena like Anthony Crolla. Outside of maybe Joshua or a pay-per-view fighter. So again, the atmosphere in there tonight was electric, and I think Anthony's at the stage in his career where world titles are very important, but also so are the big fights. So are actually the numbers. So are they haven't got, despite what Ricky says, they haven't got 10 fights left. So it's a case of now they're in the final stages of their career. And it's our job to make sure they get what they deserve, which is as much money as possible. And at the end of the day, that's what it will come down to. If Ricky Burns likes the money in a rematch and Anthony Crolla likes the money in a rematch, it happens every day of the week. But right now, they've just had 12 hard rounds, and they'll have a couple of weeks, and we'll work on it. And probably, I guess they'll be looking at March, April to come back and start looking at that date for the next fights.
How many were here tonight?
About 12,000.
Eddie, what do you think's the best route towards the world title for?
Well, you've got the Terry Flanagan fight, but again, we're not going to be abused as what we are, which is a voluntary challenger. It doesn't work like that. No disrespect to Terry Flanagan, he's a very good fighter. He can't sell 3,000 tickets in the arena. So Crolla's selling double digits every time he fights it for the last 3 times, certainly even beyond that. So again, the belts, we're not, maybe I'm not speaking for him, he's not desperate to fight for the world. If it's the right money, it's the right opportunity, he's not just going to roll over and say, oh, I'll do anything to fight for the belt, just give me 100 grand and I'll walk there. You know what I mean? For me, he's got to get the lion's share in that fight. That'll get laughed out of town. But that's how I feel about it. Ultimately, I won't make the decision. Anthony will make the decision. I will get the offers, I will look at the numbers of fights, I'll present them to Joe and Anthony, and they'll make the decision. But I'd like to think they feel the same. It's not just a case of, oh yeah, whatever you say, we want a shot for the world title. This is a very critical stage in his career where we've got to make sure that every fight counts, and that's exactly the same for Ricky Burns as well. An opportunity might come up for Ricky Burns to have a huge fight in America for a load of money, and then he'd look at that and say, okay, at the moment I know he's only got one fight with his mind, but again, it's not a game. It's not a case of you just roll over and take any fight that sounds nice or someone on Twitter says you want to see. You take the right fights for the right financial terms, and that applies to both of these fighters.
It's interesting you mentioned that Easter as well.
Yeah. But Easter, Easter's one of those fights where it's a fight you can bring to Manchester. No one's really ever heard of Easter, so it's actually quite a tough sell. And you know what? He's bloody good as well. But they all are, aren't they? I mean, Mikey Garcia might not stay around at 135. It's a shame these two couldn't fight for the vacant WBC world title.
Well, I don't know if you can tell me, but I heard Linares might give up and move up. I think Anthony's 3 in the WBA. That win tonight will sure up to 2-1. So hopefully Anthony will get a shot at the vacant belt if Jorge decides to move up and fight Garcia up at that high weight division 140. You know, Eddie Main more or less, that's the rumours I heard from America this week. They're still moving up, so Crolla will be like right up to 2-1 now for a chance for the voluntary as well. I just want to say quickly, I thought there's a lot of people today. Sky did a panel pick this week. I thought they were very disrespectful to Ricky Burns and Anthony Crolla. Like saying these two kids aren't good enough to fight on the world stage again. I think Ricky Burns tonight showed he's still got it, and I thought if it was a bad Anthony Crolla tonight, Ricky Burns would have beat Anthony Crolla. But Anthony Crolla, as he said himself, had improved within 24 rounds with Jorge Linares, and I thought it was a very good tactical fight. I thought that no one wanted to make an error because the other one was quick to counter. I thought it was a very good fight, and I was just disappointed that we were too quick to write off two good fighters that have served the game well, and especially Ricky, a 3-time world champion through it, and showed there tonight. Still got plenty in the tank, and these people are too quick to write these off, and that's why these two are here. Ricky's been beat before and come back. Crolla's been beat before and come back, and write them off, both off at your peril. They've still got it, and they've got the ability to perform on the world stage. So I just want to put that across.
And are you still hopeful for a potential big fight in America before your career ends?
Yeah, you know what, Sheldon, I say it, but then when I walk out there and that crowd's behind me, then I don't know, it's special, it really is. But yeah, listen, I'm sure they would like the away trip. There's a lot of people who like the away trip, and it's one to tick off the list, but whatever the best opportunity is, like Eddie's just said, whatever makes business sense as well. I just would have been nice. Like I said, I think, sort of to touch on what Joe said then, I think, and I said at the press conference, both me and Ricky would probably have been allowed an easier fight, maybe on an undercard somewhere, and no one would have said much, but I believe we're both proper fighters, and then all of a sudden we take this fight, and everyone's going, not everyone, but a lot of people going, the loser's got nowhere to go, the loser's got to retire, but then if we fought someone, you know, who's both expected to be easily on an undercard, those same people would be like, it's a nothing fight, so you can't win sometimes.
Ricky, do you think you'll stay at lightweight from now on?
Oh, 100%. I totally agree. I've shown, proved to myself when I'm strict on my diet, don't cheat, which as soon as this fight was announced, I was 100% on the case. Tony wasn't sure about whether I'd be able to do it or not, but showed them that I can, so if not, lightweight's my weight.
With that start flying with Josh Taylor, what time again? No, it's not going to be that fight, that's still going to talk about.
Money talks. Like I say, I would rather stay.
I'll give you a clue, if that fight ever got made, would be the one to put the money.
Money talks. But for me personally, I'd rather stay lightweight. I think I showed that I can do it. But if we did offer the big money to move back up, then who knows. But for me now, I would love to do this fight again back in Glasgow. I think it feels fair.
How did you think with your what is feel about parachutes?
Where's JD with you?
JD sponsorship. Yeah, no, I'm tired. I've got an after party now that I can't wait to get to. No, yeah, it's we could probably say after a tough fight like that, you don't get much sleep. So I'll be a walking zombie for the next few days. But
how is it?
Yeah, it's pretty sore. I reckon it was a great shot. I don't know, it's fat, it's certainly fat, but I'll go and get some cryotherapy on it in the morning and find out.
What shot did it answer? Can you remember?
What shot?
Yeah.
Are you joking? He was a belly uppercut. Yeah, we were a great uppercut. I don't know what round it was, but yeah, right on the nose.
Cheers, a round of applause I think for these two.